Tony Boselli was on the sidelines last night working for Westwood One, the former Pro Bowl tackle for the Jags. He joins us getting ready to take off on his on a plane from Cleveland and kind enough to join us. Tony, have you seen anything like that before?
Well, it's interesting. In the moment, you're sitting there just describing the action, and obviously it's intense, and Marquise Pouncey's coming in and protecting this guy and doing, and maybe went a little too far, but I think he's doing what an offensive lineman's supposed to do, protecting his quarterback. And then you kind of get back out of the stadium, you start reading on, the internet, Twitter, and kind of, flashing back and reflecting on what happened. And you read and you heard, I've never seen anything like that. And I think we live in a culture today where that was a terrible situation. It's inexcusable what Myles Garrett did. But we always react to saying this is the worst thing ever. We'll just go back to the late 70s and early 80s and watch the NFL in the highlights and go watch it. Lyle Alzado throwing the helmet at the Jets offensive lineman after he ripped it off. And so these things have happened. They're rare, thankfully. There's no place for it. You cannot use the helmet as a weapon, and I think there's going to be severe punishment for it. But, unfortunately, there's a lot of emotion, and guys lose sometimes and just snap, and things happen that people regret.
Yeah, but you didn't have social media back in the 70s and the 80s, and that's where you get the outrage, Tony. And I'm wondering, do you suspend is the rest of the season enough punishment for you?
Yeah, it is. I think that's a huge punishment. I mean, it affects him financially, affects, his reputation, his individually, what he loves to do. And it's also going to really hurt the team. He's the best defensive player. He's probably the best player on that team. And to lose him down the stretch is going to make it much more difficult for them to make the playoffs, which is a huge impact for the whole organization. So for me, the 6 games is enough. It sends a message that there's no place for it. And, if you go through Myles Garrett's young career, he's had some pushing and shoving matches and done things like that, but there's never been a suspension. There's never been a major issue on the field with him reacting in that way.
As an offensive lineman, how do you defend what Pouncey did?
I'm telling you, Dan, I said it last night on the broadcast. I'm not sure I wouldn't do much different because as an offensive lineman, your sole job is to protect that guy. And you're the guys out there trying to make sure nothing happens to him. And when you turn and see a defensive player swinging his helmet and contacting your quarterback, all bets are off at that point. And you got to go after the guy, and you got to protect your guy. Now, the kicking, at the end of it was probably that's too much. But at the same time, I'm not going to sit here and go after Pouncey because I'm not sure I would have done anything different.
Moving forward, if you were going to invest in one of these two teams, Browns after the win or the Steelers after the loss?
Well, if Myles Garrett would have been, if Myles Garrett's still on that team for the rest of the year, I'd go with the Browns because I'm not a believer in Mason Rudolph. I just don't see it. And within their inability to run the ball effectively, that offensive line has struggled this year. And they really struggled last night, both in the run game and the pass game protected. I think that defense, which was outstanding last night, they gave up 21 points, but they were putting short fields all night. Really gave up 2 big plays. That was about it. They're really good. I'm just not sure, that it's enough with Mason Rudolph. Now, both teams have really easy schedules. The Browns have the easiest schedule for the rest of the year, and I think the Steelers are second. That's what happens when the Cincinnati Bengals are in your division. So, both of them are still right in the thick of it, but probably, a slight edge to the Browns, but Steelers have a better record, so we'll see.
Tony, I keep coming back to this team with all the penalties, undisciplined. Last night, maybe a microcosm of that with what happened with Myles Garrett. It comes back to the shoulders of Freddie Kitchens. Your thoughts on Freddie Kitchens keeping this job?
Well, I think we were way premature as how we judge the Browns organization and them as a team. They have a young quarterback, second-year guy. He's going to go through growing pains. We're seeing that this year. Just because he accumulated a bunch of stars, that doesn't make him a team. And it takes a seasoned veteran coach, I think, to really manage the personalities, and that's not what Freddie Kitchens is. I mean, a year ago he was a running backs coach to start the season, got promoted offense coordinator. Next thing you know, because Baker likes him and they have a good rapport, they make him the head coach. So he's learning on the job. I think Freddie's a good guy who's doing the best he can, but every situation is new to him, and that's tough, especially when you have as many personalities and high expectations that were put on him this year.
When's the last time you sat middle seat coach?
It was about 7 to 8 months ago. And what happened was I had a first class seat, but I was going to have like a 2.5 to 3 hour layover in Atlanta, and I had to make the decision. I go stand by, get a middle seat. It's only a 45-minute flight to Jacksonville, or wait 3 hours. And I'd been on the road for a long time. I was tired, and I said, I'll suck it up. And I really felt sorry for the two people sitting next to me because my rear end and everything was overflowing to both sides.
Official height and weight for Tony Boselli is?
Well, it's a little over 6'7". I might be shrinking a little bit, so maybe a flat 6'7". The weight is something I really am not proud of right now. It's over 300 pounds again, and that's not a good thing.
Especially if you're sitting next to you in coach.
That's exactly right.
Hey, safe travels back. Great to hear from you again, Tony. Thank you.
All right, Dan, thanks.
That's Tony Boselli, former All-Pro tackle working for Westwood One. He's the sideline reporter.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on BR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.